Theater production is not only about on stage, a lot more is going on behind the stage. This is a documentary about the behind the scene. Welcome to the Backstage.
Especially when there are more people like this, people need to be even. Like you need to, I'll be here back at this time, so that'll help. But
it's fine, so I'm thinking about 1,200 things all at the same time.
We had auditions in April. We had over 60 people at the interest meeting, so a lot of them were interested in auditioning. So we had the challenge of you want it to be a quality experience for all of the students involved, and we really just couldn't do that feasibly, accommodating all of those 60 plus people. So auditions were very competitive. We did have to take into consideration their acting ability and their voice. And one thing we were very interested in how the actors worked together and how they worked off of each other, because relationships in any play, but this one we really felt strongly about the relationships and how they change, how a character can play a very complex, even though these fairy tales characters seem very simple, we wanted to dig a little deeper and find a lot of depth and range in these. So we were looking for actors who could do that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Check, 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 check.
Was that me? Was that him? Did words really kiss me? And kiss me? And kiss me? And did I kiss him back?
Some of the actors, singers were very experienced, and some of them weren't as experienced, maybe, but as I said, we really wanted to give everybody the opportunity, but it boiled down to how well do these people work together, this group of people in this particular little world with, Jack's world and then Little Red's world, and how do these characters all work in their little worlds, but also in the bigger picture and how they interact together. So that was really tough. Auditions are always really tough. We did the final casting, and then I was able to get together with a lot of the actors as well to have just little one-on-one sessions or little group sessions so we could talk about the interpretation of the character and what their interpretation was. And I like to be very collaborative with actors, so I was very interested in hearing what their interpretations were, how they felt about the character and the relationships.
This is the world I meant. Couldn't you listen?
As sometimes the wolf has been played in a very lustful interpretation where it's more sexual, going after Little Red. But I wasn't interested in that, and luckily the Easton playing the wolf wasn't either. So we saw the wolf as Beatrix Potter was an author in the early 1900s, and she wrote, I don't know if you've ever heard of The Tale of Peter Rabbit and all that. Well, there's one of her characters is Jemima Puddle Duck, and there's a fox in that production who's very smooth, he's very gentlemanly, but in the end he ends up stealing all their eggs. So it was kind of that gentlemanly, but on the surface, very smooth, very charming, but somewhat dangerous. And we played it more childlike as well, as that he's hungry. He hasn't eaten in a long time. So we really tried to move away from that sexual interpretation. I think it worked. I think it is the great part of Into the Woods is it is open to that. It's not, dictating that this character has to be played this way. So I think that was just one thing that I think we came up with, that we wanted to deviate from a lot of those past productions.
Yes, I did.
So it's your fault.
Little Red was
No, it isn't,
just
'cause I gave it
fabulous.
away.
She pretty much had the role at the audition. I mean, she just blew us all away. She was the epitome of Little Red Riding Hood to me and to a lot of us, I think. She had that childlike radiancy, that wide-eyed, always ready for something very peppy and fun, but brave at the same time, and very threatening at moments, as you saw. And just the
Yes.
tender, sweet moments between the baker and the baker's wife, and the struggle that the baker's wife had. She so wanted to just, let go and be in a different world. And I think Kelly I think she was just, talking about physical, she was just so physical. She just jumped at everything. She held everything together. She played not only the baker's husband or wife, but also kind of his mother. She had to, guide him in certain ways. And their dynamic was very interesting throughout, to see the ups and downs of a marriage, and that desperate longing for a child, and then they're working together, right? And then they have to be separated again. Watching each of the actors, there would probably be a night at rehearsal where everything just clicked. Like the mysterious man, the way he used his body, the way he very purposely, with agility, moved around the stage. It fit his character so well. But then there was the moment where he stood up upright, very tall, and walked out after the scene with the baker, with his son. So there's a ton of little moments like that where they weren't saying the lines anymore. They weren't, doing the blocking. They were playing and embodying the character.